Hello and good afternoon. Welcome to New Forest Morphs. Thank you everyone for your love and all your beautiful comments. I feel really liberated today. I've had a cleansing experience. I feel like I've turned over the tables and had a YouTube cleansing experience last night. Just felt prompted to clean the decks and to come back to this point on part 2, but it does feel liberating, it feels good, and I just love the positive vibes of all our dedicated followers. So sending you lots of love out there. Thank you for your support. Just wanted to let you know how excited I am for tonight, because tonight I'm going to be meeting for the first time Kaz, James and their family. We're doing a live, it's not a broadcast, it's a live recording for us, but it will be broadcast tomorrow night at 7, and it's going to be exciting because Kaz and James are going to share their collection with us. They're also going to share Zuri, a big female that's been going through RTI issues, to see how she's doing and give us an update on how she's doing. And we will also give you some feedback on how our video yesterday was received so well by the community that Jared and I put out on how to use F10 with a fogger. And we're delighted. I've just spent 3 hours this morning treating various snakes, and we're pleased to say that Jared and I have treated the snake that had mites, and we believe it's free of mites. And we've also been treating the big girl again this morning and last night, and she's doing so well. So we're really pleased with how everything's progressing. So, let me just give you a quick update on some of the other news items. We've got obviously Kaz and James tonight that we're going to be doing, and then that'll be broadcast tomorrow live at 7. Join us for some live chat and some banter. It'll be fun. We had 12 last time. It'd be nice to build on that foundation, and be interesting to see Kaz and James's take on how they keep their ball pythons and some of the issues that they're going through. They're going to share their collection. I think they're going to try and give us a surprise as well. I won't say what it is, but there's a little surprise that could occur in that movie as well. So I won't spill the beans. I'll let that be a surprise. I want to also welcome a couple of new subscribers to our channel. First, a big shout out to BBM Reptiles, and that's Ron, who's one of the 4 horsemen. He's literally just launched his live channel a couple of weeks ago. And Ron, we love your channel, we love you and your snakes, and we'd love to do a collab with you, maybe do a live feed together. Would be really wonderful if you're up for it. Maybe you can be our guest, we could be your guest, and have a nice live chat and talk snakes is what it's all about. Our channel's called Snake Take. It's your take on snakes. So we want you to talk about your snakes, your issues, your plans. I know that Kaz is talking about launching a YouTube channel, so what we'll do is later today we're going to do in part 2 the pros and cons of launching a YouTube channel, some of the benefits, some of the things to watch out for, some of the things to be aware of when you do go into your channel. Having been a YouTuber for over 10 years, I've got a lot of experience with people that are positive and people that are not so positive, how to handle it, how to deal with it, and this afternoon we're going to talk about some of the issues and how we can best protect the community from the haters and dislikers that are hell-bent on trying to make everyone's life a pain in the rear end. And you know, I guess over the years I've honed in on, I always give people the benefit of the doubt, but if it's consistent abuse, then you don't need to take that. The word MUG isn't written on my head, and I take everyone's views seriously, but when there's persistent negative energy, then you have to do several things, and I'll talk about that in part 2. But that's another reason why I'm feeling so good, because I've had a cleansing of the Jedi Temple. The Jedi Temple's been cleansed. So, and we'll continue periodically to cleanse the temple. And we'll come back to that this afternoon. So, a big welcome to Ron at BBM. Big shout out for you, Ron. We'll have to do a sticker swap and send you a t-shirt. So maybe you could contact us on Instagram, and Jared's running the Instagram. So please send us your address. We'll send you some stuff. The other person that's joined us recently is Jim's Wee Beasties. He's got a YouTube channel and he likes his little insects, or big insects, whatever you want to call it. But I had a quick look at his channel. He looks like he's doing some good stuff out there, so go give him a look out. And the other person I want to give a shout out to, who just subscribed this week, is Dan Ship. So thanks for jumping on to our ship, Dan. You're more than welcome to our channel. Appreciate all your love and feedback, and again we'll give you a shout out there. So that's wonderful. Now, other people that I want to give a shout out, Jush has sent me a couple of messages this week, so thank you, Jush. And he wants a beanie hat or a bobble hat is what he's used. I'm not sure what a bobble hat is. Is that a hat
like
with
a beanie with a bobble on the
with
top?
a bobble on the top? So Jad, you have looked into that. What was the outcome on that in terms of stitch work and possibilities?
Yeah, we can do it.
Is it doable?
Yeah.
Would they be about 10 quid a go?
I'm not sure how much they are. I think they're similar to the snapbacks and the hats.
Yeah, so I think if Juice wants a logo on a beanie hat, we'll get one for you. Just place your order on Instagram with Jared and he'll get the costing for you. And anyone else that's in a cold winter land that maybe wants a beanie hat with our logo, we'll do our best to supply to you. Now the other thing he was saying is he just loves the F10 video that he did last night. He really loved that, Jared. He thought it was so helpful and he put out lots of love on that. So thank you, Josh, for your positive energy. We appreciate it. It makes us pumped. It makes us want to do 2 parts a day when I hear positive feedback. And today we're going to do a 2-part series because I'm getting pumped again. I think we've had that cleansing and I'm re-energized now. So, also, we've got to make out, Joey Hannah has said he thought that the F10 fogger was brilliant. He said, great tips, guys. Really good treatment. Love it. There's not enough videos out there on F10 antiseptic treatments for a RTI, and he thought it was brilliant. And thank you. We really do appreciate that. And he's also excited to see... now, you know, at the end, we ran out of battery space, Jad. And I had 2 other pro tips to share. Well, I can share them now because I think that Joey is so in tune with us, Jared. He can read us, he can feel us, brother to brother. I mean, you know, he knows what we're thinking, and we've got 2 other ideas to help with the fogger. So the fogger doesn't have to be limited to a hospital area. The fogger could be used in here. Now, I did look at one of, I think it was Chris Hardwick put out a video many years ago about how he treated one of his snakes using a fogger, and I watched it, and he actually opened up the rub. Well, it wasn't a rub; it was a huge. He had his big old girl in there. You know the really big snake he's got in there. Well, she was bumping her nose on the end of the rub, and she had a sore nose, and it started to get a little bit of infection on it. So he used the same approach, but put it straight into the rub. And go watch his video on there. I thought it was really good. It inspired me to get into the fogger. I thought it was a good idea. So instead of taking the snake out of its homing, you actually put it into the homing and you close the lid and you just let the fogger go in there and you disinfect anything in there. So we might try that. And what Joe was saying, he's saying, why don't you use it for preventative medicine? So rather than wait for a snake to come down with an illness, periodically he's suggesting that we should go through all the snakes and we should give them a fogger experience, which will help them build up the humidity and help them out of any stuck sheds. It will also kill any germs that might be building in their throats, because potentially every snake could have an RI issue, Jared. And what triggers it is stress. And when they're stressed out, their defense system drops, and any potential bacteria that might be in there will suddenly... Opportunist bacteria, particularly fungi bacteria, they're the ones that really go for the... When we're feeling at our lowest, when we're feeling vulnerable, and this is true of life, attacks always seem to come out when we're at our lowest ebb, because there's people out there that just love to ruin your life. They love to attack you when you're feeling low. And life's tough out there. People get kicked when they're low, when they're hard. They get multiply kicked. And we need to protect each other and protect one another in this community. So when we experience someone under attack on social media or otherwise, it's up to us to rally the troops and to protect one another. And to put strength in numbers. So if you do see any abuse out there on social media, but be bold enough to stand your ground. Be bold enough to join forces and to let the person know that they're out of order, and let them be accountable for their actions. Say, this afternoon I'm going to be talking more about accountability on social media, which I think is a really good topic, because there's so many YouTubers out there, really good snake keepers, that have been abused like you wouldn't believe. And now this is my first, experience on snake YouTubing, and there has been a little bit of abuse. I can take it, but I think we need to deal with it in a professional manner, which I'm going to show you some top tips. Those of you who are on YouTube that are concerned about it, that maybe have held back on putting out material because of some hate speech, I want you to realise that you can turn that to your advantage. You stay positive, and it can fuel you to be even greater broadcaster and stronger, more willing to broadcast more material to get to the hearts of the people that really appreciate it. And I'll show you some techniques of how to push aside the haters, to move aside the unlikers that are constantly bickering and arguing over themselves and trying to bring us down. I don't think we should prevent ourselves from enjoying one another in this hobby for 1%. I think 1% of our followers, so that's like, let's work it out, we've got 400 subscribers, and we've probably got about 1,000 people that are following us because we're getting quite high views. Now, out of those 1,000 people that are watching us, 5%, that's 5 people out of 1,000 people want to have a go at us. And they're probably the same person, or they're probably buddies that like to work together to try and bring people down. And so if I put out a really good video and I see lots of negative energy and negative thumbs up, it's because the people are getting frightened. They're getting frightened of the quality. They're getting intimidated by the additional information. These are proud people that can't be taught anything. Lacking humility, lacking understanding, lacking ability to be changed. And they want to thrust their views on us. They want to be powerhouse controllers. And what they do is they try to attack us, undermine us, so that we can't have a voice. And it just fuels me up to become more of a voice and to take the bull by the horns and deal with this. So you will see me as someone that will be regularly cleansing the temple. I will give people the benefit of the doubt, but if it's consistent abuse, then I will deal with it. Okay? So that's just warning anyone out there that's thinking about it. Just think twice, because there are some serious implications, including criminal investigations. That extreme it can be. So be careful what you say. Be careful how you comment. Be sensitive to the needs of other people's feelings. Anyway, let's get back to the good news. So thank you very much, Joey, for your positive energy, positive feedback. So we will be doing a video on how we can use the fogger in here for preventative, because the 6 Ps are important to me. If we can prevent any problems, preemptive strike is very important. Sometimes your first preemptive strike is the most important one. So nip it in the bud as early as you can when issues arise, rather than allow things to fester and grow. So preventative medicine, Joey, it's got my thumbs up. Okay, I'll be interested to know anyone else's views on that, or whether they do it, and whether they've got any preemptive strikes that they do to prevent that. Steve Beckett says, great in-depth video, Jared, yesterday that you guys did. They were impressed with how you handled the snakes. They were impressed with the way you were able to open the mouth very gently with taking care, and the way that she responded to your sensitive touch, Jared, because you are one with that animal. Although you were in control, she was comfortable with you handling her. And some other snakes can go ballistic if you handle them wrong, but you are that nice, peaceful, calm, controlled manner. It's a bit like how you tame wild people out there, isn't it? It's your ability to tame a wild animal by being gentle with it but firm. And it's the same in life. We've got to be gentle and firm with each other. So he thought that was great, Jared. And he said it would be a massive help for anyone else that's caring for ball pythons with similar issues. Because, as I say, a lot of people don't share it. They're frightened to share this information, but we're not. And we're going to tell you how it is and what we're experiencing. And I hope it makes other people feel more liberated, that they can share their issues and be open with us. Because I think there's an awful lot of people out there that are probably struggling with similar issues but don't really want to talk about it. And I think it's okay to talk about it. Feel free to voice your... And that's why I like Kaz and James, lovely, transparent people. They've got an RI issue, and they're appreciating our ideas because it's helping them on their journey too. And I think this is key, because the only way we get better at snake keeping is being honest with ourselves and dealing with the issues head on. We're going to be, Jared and I will probably be experts in about 20 years by the time we get there. But at the moment we're learning, but we're gathering as much as we can, and we're using our snakes. They're teaching us, aren't they, Jared? We're learning a lot. So it's a lovely journey, and no one should ever be scared of sharing their journey, whatever the ups and downs may be, should be willing to share it. Now, Kevin Quach and Chris B, they also appreciated the video, Jared. They thought it was really helpful techniques, particularly for newcomers coming into the industry and the hobby, because a lot of people haven't got a clue what the issues are, and our videos are showing people the potential problems that can occur when you keep snakes, and it gives you a taste of reality. It's not all roses, is it, Jared? You know, we've had the mite issue a year ago, we've got through that, we're still controlling a bit upstairs with the imports, but we're much better prepared to deal with it now, and we're very protective of our collection because we keep everything away from our main collection, because we don't want to be dealing with 120 mite issues in here. There's one snake out in the quarantine that's got an issue. It's doable, isn't it, Jared? So anyway, thank you very much, Chris B. Thank you, Kevin. Chris asked some really good questions as well, so thank you, Chris, for your questions, and hopefully have a look at my comments. I've tried to answer Chris's questions, who's thinking about getting into this. Kirk. Now, Kirk's been busy working. Captain Kirk. So I would say, Captain, that appreciate your love. You just watched 5 of our videos back to back. He's either got a couple of days off work or he's catching up, but bang, he was hitting some really positive energy, and I've missed that positive energy because you've been so busy, Kirk. So thank you for being so positive with us. He said, I've been catching up. He says he loves the Sister Act video that we did with the nun. I know that was about 2 weeks ago now, but he watched it and he said he loves the name Sister Hissy, which I like too, and I think the nun will have to come out soon. Maybe we'll bring her out at a later point. And he was saying to me that during that video he was expecting an exorcism. Do you know what an exorcism is, Jared?
Yeah.
It's the removing of the evil spirits out of a dwelling or person or building, isn't it? Well, again, I think Kirk was spot on. He had no idea that I did that yesterday. I did my exorcism amongst the haters on my channel. I've taken action, shall we say, leave it like that. And I felt this cleansing feeling of actually getting rid of, I think we got rid of Emmanuel that was persistently giving us a hard time, being really negative. He was so negative on that video yesterday, Jared. You wouldn't believe how negative he was. Picking every single point out and trying to make an issue of it.
On the fogger?
Yeah. I think one of his issues was don't bother to heat the water because it heats itself. Okay, it's a fair enough point. Maybe that's true. But instead of seeing the positive, you see how people's mindsets now, Emmanuel, you mean God is with us. Please think about your name, son. Think about what your parents are trying to give you. Be good, be loving, be supportive, be kind. Don't be the know-it-all that thinks he knows best and tries to tell people how to run their ship. You be diplomatic. Now, I've taken strong action against you. It's been a double red card, mate, because you've consistently been an absolute Rodney, and I've had to deal with it. So, I wish you well. I want you to re-examine your life, and I want you to think carefully about how you contribute to this community, because you worry me that you would possibly keep snakes even. Seriously worries me. But we'll let you get going. Off you go, and I'll say goodbye. Arrivederci. Love you. So, the other person that I dealt with, we'll probably deal with the other people this afternoon, but Emmanuel was getting just too much, I'm afraid. So, what else have we got here? Kirk, thank you very much, Kirk. Now, he liked the Jedi feeding night. He thought it was brilliant. He thought the barefoot, barefoot whisperer. Oh, barefoot robe. He called me a barefoot robe whisperer. You know when we did the Jedi, and we've got some outtakes of how we actually did everything. Because just to let you into a little secret, although I do have Jedi forces, we did actually do a little bit of preparation behind the scenes, and there's a few bloopers that we'll share perhaps later in the month that you might enjoy. Jared and I trying to make things happen on special effects, because we do like to do some special effects, don't we, Jared? Well, at least I do anyway. Jared kind of tags along and says, okay, Dad, but it makes it fun. It makes it fun. So we will show you those bloopers. Let me know if you want to see the bloopers, and we could show you those. It's quite funny. Okay, because that was about the only video that we edited for about 3 months. So, you know, if I wouldn't have edited that, it would have been hilarious. But we edited it because we wanted it to be a little bit professional. But he loved that. And the other thing that he liked was he had a... let's have a look. Patrick, Sanders, Hamlin, Gavin, Ben, Joey, and Josh. They loved the feeding video with your hatchlings, Jared. You know we did the hatchling one. Mm. You know we did the rat man, which was a bit tongue in cheek, and but the actual back end of that was well received because they just love to see your hatchlings just eating in shed as well, and it just is testimony to you, Jared, as how good you are, because a lot of people will be struggling to feed their hatchlings, and we had to go through a learning curve, didn't we, Jared? But you've got them down to a fine art now where they feed regularly, and they even feed in shed.
They'll eat anything, yeah.
Yeah, you've got them feeding out your hands because of the love you're showing them, Jared, and the attention. And do you know what? A lot of people see that and see how quickly you're feeding, and they appreciate it because everyone has a different experience. Not all hatchlings feed that aggressively. Sometimes they worry about their hatchlings. They're not feeding at all. So thank you very much, everyone, for your positive comments on that one. Now, the other thing is Hamlin JV Royals BG Pythons. They loved the ovulation video that we did midweek, and they were reminded, because I took a lot of that information from Rob when he did his ovulation level 5 breeding. So I was trying to interpret my snakes the way that Rob was teaching me how to interpret. Now, interestingly enough, Jared, we got a lovely bit of feedback from Rob on that video, and it was really helpful because he shared some what I call golden nuggets with us. Should we just share a few of those with our viewers? I mean, how much time have we got at the moment?
10 minutes.
We've got 10 minutes, so let's just take a couple of minutes to share some of Rob's ideas which will help us. Now, while Jazz finding the message from Rob, and thank you Rob for your feedback, is last year I lost an egg because I wasn't on the bedding of one of my females, and it was, I'll tell you the female it was the pumpkin pie girl that was sat on 8 eggs. She gave me 8 eggs, and it was the first year that we had her. And I was super excited to see 8 pearly eggs. And then Jared and I, when we lifted the eggs, we noticed that one of them was slightly wet. And I annoyed myself because she'd spilt some water on one of her bits of bedding, and one of the eggs had rolled into that. And when water gets on eggs, it absorbs the water and it can kill the egg very quickly. It's the quickest way of losing babies. Okay. So as we're now moving to the egg laying side of the hobby, my top tip, and Rob's top tip really, is coming from Rob, is keep an eye on your humidity levels, particularly when you've got females that have ovulated, that have gone through the pre-lay shed and they're ready to lay, because if they lay their eggs on wet surfaces, you could lose babies. And I think that's a great point, and we appreciate that, Rob, so thank you so much for sharing that. And we're going to go through all our systems, because what happens is some of the girls, they turn over their water bowls to increase the humidity. And what it does is they can sit in water, and that also damages their potential skin, because they sit in water for too long, they get scale rot. So not only have you got an egg issue, you've also got a scale rot issue. So never ever allow your snakes to sit in water for too long. So Jared, would you like to share Rob's message with us? And we'll pick out all the golden nuggets. So thank you, Rob.
So he said he'd watched your video on ovulation. He said it's hard to see on the video, but he doesn't think that they've ovulated yet. A female ovulating cannot bend the lower third of her body, and it will be stiff and banana shaped.
Okay.
I noticed on your recent videos that your tubs are very wet. Humidity should be vapour in the air, not puddled water in the tubs. You can get skin issues from constant immersion if you do it too long. When your girls go to lay, you don't want them to lay into freestanding water or even wet paper. The eggs will wick water very quickly. The shells will go clear and soggy, and the eggs will drown in a very short time.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Jared. So thank you, Rob, for taking the time to care, and we appreciate that. And it's that, to me, is what I call positive energy. So there's an adjustment we need to make, and we've got a friend, fellow Jedi, that's guiding us, which I think is great. He knows we're new to this and we're going to make mistakes. So he's thinking about 120 snakes. He's thinking, how can I help Paul and Jared get even more success this year? And that's the level of love and support. I'm coming back to how we communicate now. So Rob knows how to communicate. He does it in love. And therefore, when you communicate in love, we respond. When you communicate, like the haters out there will communicate in hate. And what we do is we respond in a different way. It switches us off. We don't really take you seriously, because all you want to do is just let out aggression. That's all you're doing. You're satisfying your own pleasure seeing other people getting hurt. And what that does for us is it basically makes us feel quite low. It makes us feel quite depressed. And we don't really care for you because you're not really caring for us. And it's a hard one. So how we approach everyone on this channel and in social media is really important, and to be honest and open, but also to be sensitive. So a big thank you there, and thank you, Rob, very much. So just to finish up, I'm going to share on a really positive note, because a lot of people also were talking about caring for the carers, and this afternoon we're going to talk about that. I'm going to finish with a really positive note. It's a bit of sad news, but this is a tribute to someone that's done an amazing job to get us through this COVID so far, and I'll show you what it is. It's BBC. I'm going to finish on this note, and then we'll go on to part 2 about the social media side and YouTube setting up. Are you ready, Jared? You zoom in on this, please.
Good evening. Captain Sir Tom Moore, the 100-year-old veteran who caught the nation's imagination last year, has died in hospital with the coronavirus. In a statement, his family said they were at his bedside, able to look back at a last year of life that was nothing short of remarkable. Last April, he won our hearts as he walked 100 laps of his garden before his 100th birthday, raising nearly £33 million for the NHS in the process. Captain Sir Tom was being treated for pneumonia and was taken to Bedford Hospital on Sunday. Here's David Sillitoe.
Captain Sir Tom Moore. The word inspirational is an understatement. What began as a little family challenge to do 100 laps of his garden became a fundraising juggernaut. £39 million. Born in Keighley in 1920, he'd served in Burma during the war. After that, he'd run a business, and the closest he'd ever come to fame
And appearing this Christmas on
was an appearance on Blackety Black.
Tom, have you got family or anybody you'd rather not be watching this?
Yes, it's 2 girls,
Yes.
coming up 16, coming up 14.
But everything changed when his family set up a fundraising page for Captain Tom. The hope was to raise £1,000 for NHS charities to support the nurses and doctors during the pandemic. But just over a week later, the total had passed £1 million. And by the time he celebrated his 100th birthday, the total had topped 30 million. He also had a #1 single, a duet with Michael Ball. Captain Tom had become known the world over. He received 140,000 birthday cards.
The regimental medal.
He was made an honorary colonel. He received a knighthood. And the RAF staged a birthday flypast.
I'm absolutely delighted with all the people like you who've come to wish me a many happy birthday. It really is absolutely awesome.
It's been an extraordinary 10 months. The final entry on his wish list was an end-of-year trip to Barbados. And then, earlier this week, it was announced that he had pneumonia and had tested positive for the coronavirus. As the sad news emerged this afternoon, the Union flag at Downing Street was at half-mast.
Captain Sir Tom Moore was a hero in the truest sense of the word. In the dark days of the Second World War, he fought for freedom, and in the face of this country's deepest post-war crisis, he united us all. He cheered us all up, and he embodied the triumph of the human spirit.
Captain Tom described it as a fairy tale, but during some dark months, it was his good cheer that became a little source of joy for millions.
Never ever anticipate ever in my life anything like this. It really is amazing. And I must say to everyone, thank you very much to everyone, wherever you are.
Beautiful, Jared. Beautiful.
Captain Cert.
Isn't that just lovely? So, sending you lots of love. That's the inspired man. We'll see you in part 2. Thank you, Jared. See you in part 2.